Good evening and welcome to ClausenWorld. In today's episode, I'm going to be making some seed starting mix, sowing some seed, and showing you how I break down my coconut coir to mix it in with all of my fertilizers that I use. So stay tuned. This is my indoor greenhouse. And I wanted to show you guys that I still have sweet potato slips that are trying to produce off of that potato that I have been using. This is a Japanese purple potato. It has purple flesh and a white skin. And I have some slips that have come to the point that they need to be pulled off and put into a separate container of water to grow on. So I'm going to do that right now and then give this potato some more space to grow more slips. I want to get as many slips off of this potato as I possibly can. And as I just pulled off 5 slips off of this potato. Amazing. It's amazing how it just continues to produce until it dies. So I am going to take these gently apart and I am going to put them in that glass of, or that cup of water until they are ready to go outside. Now I've left the cover up on it so that when I open the back door that they get some of that outdoor air. That way I won't have to take as much time acclimating them to being outside. So I've already put some lukewarm water in this container. I got this water, this is rainwater that I got from outside. And on this potato, I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but I have a couple of little shoots coming up. And I don't know how long this potato is gonna actually continue to give me slips because it looks like it's almost on its last little leg. But if all I get are the slips that I've gotten off of it, that's pretty good because I've already planted out 10 slips and you just saw me pull these off. And if that's all I get other than these 2 small ones that are coming up, then that's pretty good in my book. So that is my indoor greenhouse, and this is almost all I have in here. Everything I've already transitioned to outside. I have a couple of more things in here that I don't want to show you guys, but it's maybe I'll show you guys later. But yeah, that's my sweet potato slips. So I'll see you in the garden. I feel like Blue's Clues. Instead of having that handy dandy notebook, I generally have this bucket. If anybody have any kids or had any kids 10 or so years ago, I think Blue's Clues is still out there. You don't know who Blue's Clues is. So I have this bucket and I have a brick of coconut coir, and I'm trying to take the plastic off. Sorry I'm not taking it off in front of you guys, but let's see. I'm trying to take the plastic off and not get the plastic everywhere. This brick makes about 2.25 cubic feet of soil. And so what I do is I just unwrap it like so. I lay it in my bucket. And you already know the wind is blowing, so I'm trying not to have that fly away. And it did rain, so I was able to get some water in this big 45-gallon trash can. I'm going to take my bucket and I'm just going to pour water in this bucket. And I'm going to come back to it and break it up, and it'll be ready soon. So just a little bit more water. I usually fill this bucket a little over halfway. So I think that should be enough. I'm going to put just a tiny bit more, just in case. There we go. And if I need more, I have plenty of water. So I'm leave this here, and then I'll be back in the garden in just a little while. Right, I am back in the garden. I had to take a quick break. The sun was still out. It was relatively early when I came on a little while ago. And now the sun has gone down and is giving me a little bit more shade on the back patio. And now I could get into what I want to show you guys today. Now, you saw me put water in this bucket. You see how this is all puffed up? I take and recycle soil bags that I get from the store. Any soil bag that you purchase is going to be good enough for this if you're trying this at home. This is a 2 cubic feet bag, just an empty bag. And all I do is break this apart, and if it needs more water, I add more water. You can see right here, this is still kind of dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the moist parts, and I'm going to scoop it in the bag. And I'm going to do this until the bag is full, until all this is gone. I will leave the dry parts in here, and then I will add more water and allow that to absorb the water before I put it back in the bag. And then I just place this bag in the shed, and when I need it, I have coconut coir that I add to my homegrown compost, that I add to black cow, that I add to worm castings. This is what I use as the base of my homegrown compost soil mixture. Just regular old coconut coir. So while I scoop this out, I'm going to take a break. Oh, looks like we have a visitor. Let's see if she'll come on camera. There it is. She's wanting to see what we're doing. And off she goes. Okay, so let me finish scooping this out, and I'll be right back. Right, we have gotten down to the bottom of the bucket. I had to pour a little bit more water because there were some tiny pieces that were still a little bit dry. And so all I did was stirred it up. Excuse me. And now it is ready to go into the bag. Now, any moisture that's in this bag is going to be a good thing. It's going to keep this coconut coir moist for when I need to use it when I'm making another pot or potted mixture. And we are good to go. I am good for anything else I need to pot up, because like I mentioned in my previous video, I am going to be looking ahead for my summer and my fall garden, and I needed a little bit more soil in order to make those things happen. So I'm just going to shift this bag a little bit. Now this is heavy, so if you have issues with mobility, your back in any way, I would recommend getting someone to help you with this bag, or set this bag up in an area where you do not have to move it, because it is going to be heavy. This originally was 2 cubic feet worth of soil, and I have placed in here wet, well, moist. It's not extremely really wet, but it is slightly damp, and that's going to make it even heavier. So be mindful, be careful if you have mobility issues. It's one of the reasons, that's one of the reasons why I sit sometimes. You know, I have back problems sometimes too, so gotta be really careful. And as you age, things just creep up on you. You don't realize it's happening until you wake up one day and that's your reality. I have hand trucks and everything else to help me in the garden, so as well as if I need help, I can always ask for it. All right, so this is done. I'm gonna let this sit, and then I've got a little bit of cleanup to do. But I wanted to talk to you guys about this bucket right here. Now this bucket, let's move this out the way a little bit. There we go, shift that out the way. I started a Jerusalem artichoke that I found in the grocery store in this bucket, and when I brought it outside, it ended up dying off because I started it in the house during the winter time. Let me pour this water out of this bucket because I'm not going to need it. There we go. And I want to see if this Jerusalem artichoke is still alive. If it's still alive, it'll stay in this bucket. If it's not alive, I'm going to repot this bucket up with something else because I don't want to have soil sitting around with nothing growing out of it. So I'm going to take my favorite trowel and dump off the wood chip and cinnamon that I had on top to deter the squirrels. And once I put that up there, the squirrels hadn't messed with this. So it was obviously something in this bucket that they didn't like the smell of, because I shooed away squirrels from this area where I kept this bucket twice this week. Alright, so now that that's all gone, and I use my handy dandy turquoise bucket for all kinds of stuff. I bought this bucket years ago. I have no idea where I bought it from, but it's been pretty handy for me. Alrighty. Ooh, well look at that. Okay, I'm going to leave this alone. I'm going to show you guys why. Hopefully you can see it. Jerusalem artichoke is still alive in this bucket. And I did, let me get my reading glasses so I can see the fine details. Oh, I'm so excited. Let me bring this up. Hopefully I can show you guys. Yes, I've got Jerusalem artichoke growing in this bucket. It has come back alive. Can you guys see that? That is a Jerusalem artichoke, and it looks kind of like a ginger or a turmeric, but it has a small green top on it, and it's giving me sprouts on the end. So I am going to cover this back up, but I'm going to put a little bit of fertilizer. And I'm gonna, this was the same fertilizer that I used a couple of days ago. It was in the turquoise bucket, and I just poured it in here. This is blood meal, bone meal, plant tone, and I think some vegetable fertilizer. To me, this is the kit and caboodle. This is my base for everything. So I think that's all that's in here. So I'm gonna take, my glove is a little bit wet because I've been messing around here with this coconut coir. So I'm going to take a little bit on my favorite trowel, my heart-shaped trowel, and I'm going to just sprinkle it right here. And I can't tell you how much that is. A little bit. I grew up in a family where when you cook in the kitchen, you didn't use ingredients. You were like a pinch of this, a dash of that, you know, a smidgen, taste it. So that's kind of how I garden. And so I'm just going to rough this up in this soil just like so. Just like so. And again, I go down to the second digit. And I'm just going to rough this up. And I'm roughing it up on this side because I know there's a Jerusalem artichoke over here. And then I'm just going to move that soil back over top of that Jerusalem artichoke, and hopefully I didn't disturb it too much. And so now I'm just going to take that wood chip and some of that soil that I took off at the top, and I'm going to put it back. And then I'm going to place this back in the area where I got it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to actually move it because Jerusalem artichokes can get really tall. And where I put it, it would not have enough space to grow up. And I'm just going to give this a tiny little tap just to firm it in just a little bit, since I disrupted it a little bit. And I'm going to put a little bit of coconut coir on the top because I feel like this might need a little bit extra. And then I'll go get some wood chip, and I'll put a little bit of more wood chip on there. I want to keep this moist, and this soil was pretty moist because I had this hooked up to the irrigation system and it was getting tap water. So I'm going to move this and I'm going to place it near where it was, but not exactly where it was. That way it'll give it room to grow out. And so I'm really excited to see that this actually, it died back, but it didn't die off. So I'm going to end up getting a surprise Jerusalem artichoke harvest, and I'm really excited about that because last fall was the first time I'd ever tasted a Jerusalem artichoke. I was walking through a specialty grocery store and I happened to come across a small little package, and I thought, man, what's a Jerusalem artichoke? What's a sunchoke? And I tasted it. Kind of tastes like potatoes. I baked it like a potato, and I thought, oh yeah, got experiment. So now I've got some in the bucket. So I'm going to place this over here to the side, and I have another bucket that I found when I moved the Jerusalem artichoke. I found another bucket of onions that I did not dig into yesterday. So let me grab that bucket. It's right here. I actually have it hooked up to the irrigation system, so I need to release it. There we go. To pull the irrigation system out of it, and I realized there are a couple of onions in here that are leaning over. Now this one definitely has a lean in the neck, so I'm going to release it and I'm going to take it out. I think its neighboring partner might also have a lean in the neck. I'm just going to give it a wiggle because it seems like it's pretty stuck in there. Yeah, I didn't want to disturb its partner. So I'm just going to take this and wipe it down. Again, trying to leave as much soil in the garden as I can because I don't want to take soil and transport it out of the garden. And I am going to take my little white bucket that I usually use to grab water. And I'm going to place this onion. Did you guys see that onion? I'm going to place this onion in the bucket. Now this one has a slight bend, and I think it's just enough that it wants me to take it out of the bucket. It wants me to free it. It's ready to go. Now the rest of these, I don't really see that significant amount of bend. They need a little while longer. So I'm not going to put anything in this bucket. I'm just going to take this onion out and I'm just going to wiggle it out because I don't want to disturb its roommates here. Tease out the tops. Look at that onion. Man. And it's a little bit moist because the irrigation system came on yesterday. Yeah, yesterday it came on last night. So it's a little bit moist. Look at that onion, you guys. Can you see that compared to my hand? It's a nice size onion. It's not too large, but it's still not too small compared to the size of my hand. Can you see that? Amazing. So that's 2 more onions that are coming out of the garden. I'm gonna give this one more look-see. I think this one also, I thought this one maybe not, but yeah, this one looks like it needs to come out too because its neck is bent. So let me tease it out. So that's 3 onions harvested today, and I was not expecting to harvest onions today. I just so happened to be moving things around trying to get to this Jerusalem artichoke, and I thought, ooh, that onion bucket looked like it has onions. And I could swear I looked at this bucket yesterday, but here we are, pulling out some more onions. And the more I pull, the more it seems like that one's kind of floppy, so this has to come out. I hope this is an onion. Yeah. I also put some ginger around, and I try to only put one thing in a bucket at a time, but if you've watched my videos, any of my videos, you know that I try to pack my buckets with all kinds of stuff, because I don't like anything to grow alone. It needs partners. It all needs partners. All right, I am tussling with the tops, just kind of squeezing them a little bit, looking at them. And the rest of these seem like they, this one is a maybe. It's a maybe. Let's see. This is a maybe. And a couple of these, yeah, this is it's kind of floppy, but I don't know if the floppiness is due to the wind or because it doesn't feel quite like this one. It's almost there, but not quite yet. I think this one is due to the wind. I'm gonna let it sit here for another couple of days and see what happens. But yeah, this one's a tiny onion, but that's okay. This could be breakfast, you know. Chop that up and make an omelet. So that is 4 onions that were harvested today, and I was not anticipating harvesting an onion. So let's see what else I can get to in the garden before we lose light this evening. Here is my baby bok choy bucket that is going to seed. Some of the seeds, the seed pods are turning brown, so it won't be too long now before I get to harvest these, and this bucket can be utilized for growing something else. Now it does have a flower in this pot that is a white yarrow. For right now, that's going to stay in the bucket, but I am going to utilize the space that I currently have. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit. I'm going to put some pepper seeds in this pot. Let's see if I have any room to do so. I know there's always something going on in the pots. I'm always putting something somewhere, and I don't have a lot of real estate because of that in the pots. I know there's actually something coming up over here, and I'm not quite sure what that is. It could be a bulb. Don't know. And there's something right over in this area. It looked like it might have been an onion that didn't do anything. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's an onion. And it's kind of sort of soft in an area. It's got to come out. I'm not going to fool with it. It's been in there for a while and it hasn't really done anything. I'm going to put a little bit of this fertilizer in here. My handy dandy fertilizer. Just a couple of finger pinches full. And I am just going to work this into the soil like I showed you before, 2 digits deep, trying not to disturb the roots of this baby bok choy, trying not to disturb this beautiful yarrow over here, because I can see that it is sending out new shoots. It's branching itself out over there, and there is a bulb or something sprouting over here in the corner too, so I don't want to disrupt that too much. I want to put a little bit of fertilizer in this pot, just a little bit. Alrighty, I've disrupted the soil enough, and I need to be mindful, of course, of the irrigation. And I'm going to plant, let me see if you guys can, let me take the gloves off first. They're still a little bit moist. I'm going to plant this fish pepper. And it's probably a little bit risky planting it behind this baby bok choy, but I'm a risk taker. So let's see what'll happen here. So I am just going to take just a couple of these seeds, and I'm going to put 2 right there. And I don't know how many are going to germinate, but I don't want to waste. So let me think about this for a second. I don't like wasting seed. It's important to make sure that when you drop seeds, that you're mindful of that. I see a number of friends that garden, and I see people on YouTube, and they just drop a whole bunch of seed, and then they end up pricking them out, giving them away, or throwing them away. And right now, I just don't feel like that's the best decision for me to do. So I am not going to do that. So I moved one of those seeds. I have one here, and I put one in the corner. That's only 2 seeds. I know that's not a lot, but I'm going to gamble that might be enough. But just in case, because I am a risk taker, I'm going to put one more seed in here just in case. I have an empty spot right here. So that's 3 fish pepper seeds in this. I think this one is a 4.8 gallon pot, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think that's the 4.8. So I am going to go ahead and cover up those seeds just a tiny bit with soil, not a whole lot, because they're not very big seeds. And just press them down just like so. Just covering them up. Hope you guys saw that. I hope my head isn't in the way like it was. My shoulder was in the way yesterday, so I do apologize. All right, so there we have it. I have just sowed some fish pepper seeds in this yarrow pot, soon to be just a yarrow pot, and whatever that is, it's coming up, that's probably a flower bulb. And then before long, all of these baby bok choy will turn brown and come out. So I'm just waiting for that to happen. There has been something chewing on a few of them, but there's so many that I don't really mind. If something chews on a couple of them, they can have their part. Just leave me some is all I ask. But yeah, these look really good. And I see an insect right there, so he's gonna have to go. I'm gonna take him off and kill him. And I've got one pod over here that's turned brown, so I am gonna harvest that off. I think it might be ready for me to harvest. I'm just gonna take it inside and let it brown off a little bit more. And that is it. I think that's it for me today. I am going to call it an evening. It is late in the evening. It's almost 8:30. And I am quickly losing light, even though you all might not be able to see that. But that's all I have for today. I hope today was good content for you all. And if you liked it, come back and visit my channel again tomorrow. Have a great evening, and happy gardening to all of you. On my way back into the house, when I noticed that these pansies have seed heads on them, and some of them have opened up, and I'm sure some of the pansies will be growing in the grass next year. But I've got some seed heads that I would like to harvest. So I am going to pluck these seed heads off, and I'm going to show you. That is a pansy seed head right there. And those little bitty things right there are pansy seeds. Can you guys see that? Pansy seeds. And the reason why I'm collecting this is because these seeds I bought earlier in the year. Might have even been last year. I got them from Baker Creek. They're giant Swiss pansies. And I didn't know whether or not they would give me seed heads. But sure enough, they sure have. And I missed some of them. So like I said, there will be some pansies growing in the grass along here in the springtime next year. But that's okay. I like surprises. I just have to remember not to cut them down if I see them popping up, or best bet, if I see them popping up, to try my best to transplant them so that I can pot them up somewhere else. So I am just trying to take off these last few little seed heads that I see here that have a few seeds left in them. I'm so excited. This is my very second time harvesting pansy seeds that I grew. From harvesting a pansy seed that I grew from a seed, if that makes sense. I grew these pansies from seed, and this is the second time that I've ever grown from a seed that I get a chance to harvest from that seed. I hope I'm saying that right. It sounds crazy when I say it out loud, but I hope y'all get what I'm saying. And so the idea of me being able to get this is just amazing to me. I love being able to harvest my own seed. That way you don't run out. And I love the fact that this actually drops seed. So now that I know, when I plant this in my forever property, I know that this will give me seed. Now what I'm going to do is, I don't know how many of these actually dropped inside of this pot. So I will be spreading some of these inside of the pot as well. I'm sure some of them really did drop in already. So I'm going to take a few of these seed heads and I'm going to drop them down into the pot itself and let it touch soil. And that way, in the spring, it will regerminate. And I won't have to worry about spreading any more poppy seeds. But man, this is just, I love when I can score like this. This is a huge score. So what I'm just doing now is I'm taking a few of these poppy seed heads that only have a couple of seed pods still, or a couple of seeds in the pod, and I'm just trying to drop them down to the soil so that I can get a mixture of poppy seed again. So I'm hoping that some of these, let me wipe my hand off because my hands are a little bit wet because I was watering this as well, and that's when I noticed it. So I want to get this same mixture. I want these beautiful yellows and purples, and this yellow and purple, and this cream butter color and purple. I don't know if you guys can see all that, but I want to get this same mixture back in this pot next year. So I'm just going to take these seed heads, pop them off, drop them in the pot. But that was it. That's all I wanted to share with you guys. As I was watering this before I went in the house, I looked down and I was like, wait a minute, those are poppy seed heads. And I felt like I scored big time because I bought these seeds, and now I know it's going to give me seed forever and ever. Amen. All right, that's it for me, everybody. Hope you guys had a great day. Bye.